This is Straight Talk with Atlanta native Greg Penn, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shannon Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fan, the Preacher Man.
I'm Keith Gamage, your Fulton County Solicitor General.
And I'm Captain Nikki Renfro of the Georgia State Patrol.
Every 51 minutes, someone is killed in an alcohol-related accident.
This holiday, officers will be out looking for unsafe drivers. If you are buzzed, drunk, or impaired, don't drive. Call someone for a ride or we'll be forced to give you one.
Once you're charged with DUI, you can face jail time, license suspension, and a conviction on your criminal record. So this holiday, have fun. Make it a night to remember, not a night to regret.
Well, welcome to another edition of Straight Talk, and I'm here with my co-host Shannon E. Jones, and I tell you the truth, I'm just excited and elated that he brought me a Christmas present today.
Oh, yes, man.
What did you bring me? What do you bring me?
A lot like Christmas.
Okay, let's do it. Can I just
Please,
open it?
you get to open one gift before Christmas.
One gift before Christmas. Let me see what it is. Let me see.
There you go.
I'm going to show y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Paper? Just paper?
No, ain't no just paper. No.
Let me see.
Paper.
All I'm seeing is
Open
paper.
it up. No.
More paper?
No, and don't wrinkle it up because I'm gonna need the bag and the paper back for the next gift.
Let's see. Lord have mercy. Lord, I can't believe that you did this.
Yeah, I told you I had a gift for you.
You know, hold on for a second. I don't want to leave all this.
Wait a minute. First of all, you didn't even recognize the fact that I had enough care for you to get you a bag in your high school's color.
You did good. You did good.
That's Washington High School color.
Absolutely.
So before you get ready to clown me,
you did good.
I want you to recognize that I painstakingly.
You did good. You did good. You did good.
Yes.
And you did. Oh, I see why. You couldn't even get it to fit your head before it went out. I see. I see how you tried to get. I see how. But this is an AFL-CIO hat.
That's right.
Cap from the labor union. It is Georgia AFL-CIO.
Well, when you get on the cause of faith and labor.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be labor till I die anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to be labor till I die. So I'm going to put the
told
cat
you
on.
I had that.
Yeah, you did.
I want people to know I'm a man of my word.
He is a man of his word. He is his word. He didn't want to say brother to me.
I got some more gifts. I got some more stuff.
You do?
To get you. Yeah, I got some.
Well, bless y'all. Bless y'all. Appreciate it. You know what? I'm proud to wear this cap today on Straight Talk. But I just want to say, I want to send a shout out to my classmate, Joe Daniels, who watches Straight Talk.
Hey, Joe.
And we had Leon Roberts, who watches Straight Talk, another one of my class members.
What's their name, folk Leon, no more? Have you noticed that?
I know it.
Leon's and Helen.
I know. Okay. Salads and all of that.
Salad.
They got Sean's now.
Shaniqua.
They got Sean's and Shannon's.
Yeah, Shaniqua, Taquiqua.
But anyway, we had our brunch, and the school colors of a class of 1969. But Washington High, we had our brunch, and I want to give a shout out to all our class members, those that were there and those that were not there. But Joe kept saying Straight Talk. Joe watches it, and shout out to him and his wife Rita, and Walt Andrews and his wife Rita, and Brenda, and Gail, and Carolyn, and her husband Jerry, and to Tommy, and to Carlos and Jimmy, and to all of those, Brenda, to all of those that were there to make up the class. Our president, Mrs. Chester, McElene Chester.
Class president?
Yeah, the class president.
I met yesterday we gave out toys, and so one of the resource officers, she was from Washington High School, class of 1980. I said, do you know Bishop Greg Fan? She said, no, I don't know him. I said, you should know him. I said, are you in your alumni association? She said, yeah. I said, well, he's very active in the alumni association. He's very active with his class.
Absolutely.
And I said, what class were you? She said, I'm class of 1980. What class was Bishop Fan? I said, I don't know, but I know Booker T. Washington was the principal there when he when he was, I don't know what class it was, but I know the Booker T. Washington was his
happened to be
principal.
there when I was there. Mr. Dawson, he was the principal.
Mr. Dawson?
It was Mr. Dawson.
So he took over right after
Mr.
Booker
somebody,
T.
J.Y. Molan, one of them.
Right after Booker T.
It was one of them.
Took it right after Booker T.
I didn't go to class that much. I couldn't remember who the principal was.
See, all you can say is you didn't get in trouble. So you didn't have to say you didn't go to class, you didn't get in trouble.
Nigga, I knew who the band teacher's name was. His name was Bobby Jordan. Yeah, well, anyway, I just want to say a shout out to them. And Joyce Dorsey, she sent a comment. She said she's enjoying it. We're giving some very important information. And the Reverend, I call her Little Preacher Woman. That's the Little Preacher Woman, Joyce Dorsey. And I tell you, a lot of people send in comments, and we try to put, let people know who's watching and who's making comments. And we thank you so much for your watching of the program and viewing of the program. But we have a good program for you today. We're going to have the Senator Raphael Warnock, who spoke before the Senate about voting and voting rights, and also about this new bill in terms of, I guess it would be like the New Deal like Roosevelt had back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he talked about it. We'll have him a little later on. We're going to talk a little bit more about the insurrection and some of the stuff that's going on too.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I saw my former boss. He was walking up to go into the Capitol building, and
who was your former boss, by the way?
Reverend Senator Raphael.
Oh, you worked for him?
Worked for him.
Okay, all right then.
Worked for him. I'm gonna leave it there. I worked for him. I didn't say it, but I worked for him.
Let me put it like this. You see him coming up closer, and even in the camera, I'm closer in the camera. You still bigger than me. I am losing a lot of weight, right? Somebody told me, said, you need to get your pillow and sit on.
You need to get something. I tell you, you're wasting away here, man. You're wasting away. But anyway, he was walking up, and Manchin was walking up.
Yeah, okay.
And Manchin kind of tried to reach out to him and glad hand him, and I could tell in Dr. Warnock's demeanor that he is not really appreciative to what Manchin was doing, and he doesn't have much of a poker face when it comes to issues of injustice. And so I could look in his eyes and see that right when those cameras were gone, he let them know we need to talk. Right. We definitely need to talk.
He even said that he need to talk to Joe Manchin, because he is the holdup. He is the holdup in terms of this voting right bill. And we need to talk more about that because it's important, because our democracy is at stake. And Shannon and I are going to talk a little bit more about that on the other side. But right now, we're going to hear from Miss C and her Straight Talk News.
And then can we get you a phone book or something so you can set up a booster seat or something, because you just look like you're going away. Hey, Miss C.
Miss C, take it away.
Hi, there you are. Thanks, Greg. Hey, Shannon. This is Miss C here with your Straight Talk News. Liberty International Church Door of Hope Ministries invites you to their watch night services beginning New Year's Eve at 10 p.m. and going on to midnight with Bishop Greg and Vivian Fan. You can watch live on YouTube or Facebook Live. Okay? Temple of Prayer Family Worship Cathedral invites you to watch night services beginning at 10:30 p.m. And you can watch live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Now, if you decide you want to go to the sanctuary located at 161 Sonoria Road in Fairburn, only 100 people will be allowed in the sanctuary, just 100. Keep that in mind. And this is following the CDC guidelines, okay? You can get your COVID-19 testing with no out-of-pocket costs, and they're going to use the shallow nasal PCR test at Temple of Prayer Family Worship Cathedral, 161 Sonoria Road in Fairburn, and that's Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4. You can also locate a testing site near you for your convenience at curative.com. That's curative.com. The Atlanta NAACP invites you to their 2022 Jubilee Day. That's going to happen New Year's Day from 10 until 11:30 a.m. at the East Point First Malibu United Methodist Church, 2651 Church Street in East Point. Call 404-524-0580, extension 1004 for more details. There's going to be a 5K charity walk run honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the voting rights and honoring the homeless community. It's called 40 Miles and a Mule. That's going to happen Saturday, January 15th at 1354 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard in Atlanta. If you register before January 1st, it's $20. After January 1st, it's $25. And registration will happen from 11 until 11:30 a.m. Now you can register online. Need a pen? Go to https://tinyurl.com/40 miles and a mule. Okay? And that's January 15th. That's also Dr. King's birthday. Now listen, on your screen somewhere, there's a little button that says subscribe. We would love for you to push that button and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It just shows that you like us. And I'll be happy to announce your event, your class reunions, church news, community events. Just send it to Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. That's Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. And I'm wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'm going to pray that this coronavirus is gone in 2022 so we can get back to doing all the things that we love and enjoy. And we're going to see you next time. Bye-bye now.
I'm with the South Fulton Police Department. The holiday season is a time when criminals have more than normal opportunity to strike. We want you to enjoy your holidays, family and friends, but we also want you to take precaution. Here are some easy tips on what you can do to have a safe holiday season. 1. Don't leave boxes on your curb that let perpetrators know what gifts you have received, like big screen TVs or other big ticket items. Break boxes down or take them to your local dump. 2. As it gets colder, our cars need to warm up longer when first starting them in the morning. Never leave your car unattended while running. Even though you may not see anyone around, you never know who's lurking in the shadows. Never leave your car idling if you're not in it. 3. This one seems obvious, but it happens a lot. Never leave your holiday shopping bags in plain sight in your car. Lock them in your trunk. If you have to continue shopping, move your vehicle to another location in case someone saw you put your packages in the trunk. Then make sure all of the doors are locked. 4. Don't let your cell phone be a distraction. Pay attention to your surroundings at all times. 5. We all know that there's safety in numbers. While shopping or attending events this holiday season, avoid doing it alone. Always check to see if a family member or friend can accompany you. And ladies, use small handbags or fanny packs. Large handbags can be a target. 6. So you finish shopping. You've loaded your car with your purchases. But what you don't see is that someone is watching. Their plan is to follow you home and commit robbery. To avoid this, make sure you check your rear view mirror frequently to see if anyone is tailing you. 7. With all the holiday events and trips to the shopping malls, you will probably need to gas up more than usual. Same safety rules apply during the holidays, but be even more vigilant. Keep your keys with you. Don't be distracted by your cell phone. Don't leave children, pets, or valuables in the car unattended. Lock your doors. Don't leave your car running, and always be aware of your surroundings. Slighter crimes at gas stations is a crime of opportunity. 8. Package delivery theft increases over the holidays. If you're having a package delivered, make arrangements to be at home. Have it delivered where someone can accept the package, or have it held at the station until you can pick it up. 9. When you get to your car, make sure locking the doors is the first thing you do, and do not sit in parked cars for long periods of time. Best practices: get in your car, lock your doors, and immediately proceed to your destination. Speaking of destination, here's our final holiday tip. Don't drink and drive, or we'll be your Uber driver for the night. Be safe and happy holidays.
Well, Well, thank you, Ms. C, for your news and information. And if you have news and information, be it community events, be it church events, well, just stuff that you think people ought to want to know that's going to be happening in the city, in the state, well, send it to Ms. C. That's Straight Talk, 1362 at gmail.com. That's Straight Talk News at 1362 at gmail.com. I'm going to say it again.
Straight Talk News, 1362.
At gmail.com. Well, we're going to go on now and thank Ms. Baker for her. Officer Baker does a great job with those tidbits about the being safe. And those things can be used even after Christmas, okay?
Yeah.
Even after the holidays. Just think safety first, won't you? Just think safety first. And Shannon, you said something last week that I want you to repeat this week when you talked about don't go the same what?
Oh, don't take the same routes home. Change your behaviors. Don't be so routine, because sometimes when you're routine, you get in the car sometimes and you drive and you don't even remember the trip.
Right.
It's like you just end up at the destination because
Right.
you do the same thing.
Right.
Thieves and criminals love routine people because they can track you and deal with you. So find another way home, go another route, do this. Just break out of routines, because that'll help you stay aware of your surroundings.
And I want to give you another helpful tip. This is something that we used to hear all the time. Look out for the car that's in front of the car that's in front of you. Drive safe, think safe, because people out on the road are not thinking, they're just driving. So look out for the car that's in front of the car that's in front of you. And don't just get up on somebody's bumper and think that you can stop that car automatically. Brakes don't work like that. It takes time for, even when you step on the brake, for a car to stop.
My granddaddy used to, he told us, how to drive, stay car lengths away.
Right.
Granddaddy used to drive, it'd be a car, literally, you could put a presidential motorcade in between him and the car in front of him. We used to be so aggravated. The man always drove the speed limit. No, grandson, you have to stay back, because if anything should happen, I said, Granddad, your car could flip, catch on fire, do everything, and you still wouldn't hit the car in front of you.
Well, but your granddaddy thought, what? Safe. And we more people don't use what? Common sense. And common sense is not common to who? All people. Well, we'll be back with more, and we're going to have Brother James Broom with Black History Fact. Don't you touch that dial. You stay there and do what for us. Share it with your Facebook friend and YouTube family now. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And we thank all of those of you who have already subscribed. Share it, won't you? Here's Brother Broom with Black History Fact. And the Preacher Man right here on Straight Talk with Black History Facts with Brother James Broom.
In America, black athletes were effectively barred from playing against white athletes, which in turn barred them from competing in the most prestigious and most publicized matches until 1950, when Althea Gibson competed against and defeated a white player. From the 1930s onward, America and the world never saw what many of the top black athletes were capable of. In fact, if it were not because of segregation, we would easily remember the truly great tennis sisters who came well before Venus and Serena Williams. Meet the Peters sisters. Margaret and Matilda Peters, affectionately known as Pete and Repeat. These two extremely talented African-American women changed the face of women's tennis. Together, the Peters sisters made history with their winning tennis doubles record from the 1930s to the 1950s. The Peters sisters. They forget them, but we won't.
It's been Black History Facts with Brother James Broom right here on Straight Talk. Join us each and every Friday from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. with yours truly, Greg Fan, the Preacher Man, and Shannon E. Jones. And do share these Black History Facts with your family and friend, and do tune in to Straight Talk. Won't you? It ain't nothing but Straight Talk. Well, thank you, Brother Broom, with that interesting Black History Facts about Miss Peters. Yeah.
Wow.
A tennis player. Long before Mr. Ash and others, she did it. Long before Venus and Serena.
Long before. She paved the way.
She paved the way.
Man, without brooms, man, we'd be forgetting all about, people,
Wait a minute. Last week when you said that, I said he's trying to imitate James and his voice as all about him, but we won't. And I'm praying for his sister-in-law. His sister-in-law Jackie. We're praying for her. She's been a little ill, and of course we're praying for her and his family. So let's keep them lifted up, won't you?
Absolutely.
Well, let's now go on and let's have the senator make his presentation before the Senate. And you know what one of the commentators said about Senator Warnock, Pastor Warnock? That was his first speech on the Senate floor, but she said that we haven't heard a speech like that ever before. I said, wow. And when I listened to it, I said, the man got it. The man got it.
His second speech.
It was his second speech, but the man got it. The man got it. I mean, he was on it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on it.
What he's doing is taking them to church. In other words, not church in the sense of the religiosity, but church in the sense of the social power of the black church and what it has meant to the world in terms of saving the soul and redeeming the soul of America.
Right.
It's been the black church that has been the conscience of America, and that's what the Senate is getting a chance to see. What you see every Sunday, what we used to.
Well, with that being said, your former boss, I newly elected, but I elected Senator, U.S. Senator Roffrey.
Can I just say one thing? I know we got to go. But he got so mad at me on my last sermon. You say my former boss. So I laugh when I say I work for him. So my first trip to Africa.
Right.
I went there with Dr. Warnock. And, and I went there and I come off the plane and I smelled the African night. The air was so thick and I was just like, oh man, I'm home. All of a sudden I heard somebody say, Jones, get my bag. Came back to Africa a slave. He said, no, I didn't say that to you. Yes, you did.
Well, anyway, we're going to hear from the senator now, his former boss, the one who told him to carry the briefcase. But I know that feeling because I carry around having the briefcase a lot myself. But it's all good. But here's Senator Warnock, and here he is on the Senate floor talking about the injustice that's being perpetrated upon the people by not passing the voting right bill.
To be sure, we have seen these kinds of voter suppression tactics before. They are a part of a long and shameful history in Georgia and throughout our nation, but refusing to be denied. Georgia citizens and citizens across our country brave the heat and the cold and the rain, some standing in line for 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, just to exercise their constitutional right to vote. Young people, old people, sick people, working people, already underpaid, forced to lose wages to pay a kind of poll tax while standing in line to vote. And how do some politicians respond? Well, they're trying to make it a crime to give people water and a snack as they wait in lines that are obviously being made longer by their draconian actions. Think about that. Think about that. They are the ones making the lines longer through these draconian actions. And then they want to make it a crime to bring grandma some water while she's waiting in a line that they're making longer. Make no mistake, this is democracy in reverse. Rather than voters being able to pick the politicians are trying to cherry pick their voters. I say this cannot stand. And so I rise, Mr. President, because that sacred and noble idea, one person, one vote, is being threatened right now. Politicians in my home state and all across America, in their craven lust for power, have launched a full-fledged assault on voting rights. They are focused on winning at any cost, even the cost of the democracy itself. And I submit that it is the job of each citizen to stand up for the voting rights of every citizen. And it is the job of this body to do all that it can to defend the viability of our democracy. And that's why I am a proud co-sponsor of the For the People Act, which we introduced today. The For the People Act is a major step in the march toward our democratic ideals, making it easier, not harder, for eligible Americans to vote by instituting common sense pro-democracy reforms, like establishing national automatic voter registration for every eligible citizen, and allowing all Americans to register to vote online and on Election Day, requiring states to offer at least 2 weeks of early voting, including weekends, in federal elections, keeping Souls to the Polls programs alive, prohibiting states from restricting a person's ability to vote absentee or by mail, and preventing states from purging the voter rolls based solely on unreliable evidence like someone's voting history, something we've seen in Georgia and other states in recent years. And it would end the dominance of big money in our politics and ensure our public servants are there serving the public. Amidst these voter suppression laws and tactics, including partisan and racial gerrymandering, and then a system awash in dark money and the dominance of corporatist interests and politicians who do their bidding, the voices of the American people have been increasingly drowned out and crowded out and squeezed out of their own democracy. We must pass for the people so that the people might have a voice. Your vote is your voice, and your voice is your human dignity. But not only that, we must pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. You know, voting rights used to be a bipartisan issue. The last time the voting rights bill was reauthorized was 2006. George W. Bush was president, and it passed this chamber 98-0. But then in 2013, the Supreme Court rejected the successful formula for supervision and pre-clearance contained in the 1965 Voting Rights Act. They asked Congress to fix it. That was nearly 8 years ago. And the American people are still waiting. Stripped of protections, voters in states with a long history of voter discrimination and voters in many other states have been thrown to the winds. We Americans have noisy and spirited debates about many things, and we should. That's what it means to live in a free country. But access to the ballot ought to be nonpartisan. I submit that there should be 100 votes in this chamber for policies that will make it easier for Americans to make their voices heard in our democracy. Surely, there ought to be at least 60 in this chamber who believe, as I do, that the four most powerful words uttered in a democracy are "the people have spoken."
Well, your former boss in the senator told him, didn't he?
Doc, he told them.
He told them.
He told them what they needed to hear and what the country really needs to be looking at. This is a maniacal moment that we're in right now. Someone needs to shake this country awake, man. Needs to shake this country awake. And that speech right there, that's what America needed to hear.
They need to hear. And you know, there are people who still believe in democracy. That speech should touch the hearts of those people who still believe in this country being a country that is where people have a choice and an opportunity to vote, and they don't have all these prohibitions to keep them from voting and exercising their right as American citizens.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I thank him so much for that. And you know, we talked about last week Mrs. Cheney and the committee and Mr. Thompson and what we're almost on the 6th again, and still trying to peel back all the things that took place on the 6th. And Mr. Mark Henderson, the chief of staff, who gave them all this information but will not come before them to testify about the information that he's provided, and also the stuff that he wrote in his book. Last night I had an opportunity to listen to the conversation between the former president and Mark and some of the former president legal counsel with Mr. Ratzenberger, about an hour conversation. I sit and listen to all of it. And I heard Mr. Meadows invoke himself in that conversation in terms of, let's get these votes. They're there, give them to us. Basically what he said, give them to us. We need we want it, we need to win it, and we need to have it, and we need to move on. And there's no file if you say, well, we messed up. Well, you know, something was unethical about that. You know what I'm saying? Because the courts are ruled and everything else is ruled, unethical and illegal. And all these people ruled that there wasn't nothing wrong with the election all over the country. But you study trying to get people to change the vote. And still today, you're still trying to get people to change the outcome of an election that's been over a year ago. Still today.
And if you felt that the election was stolen, then why are you trying to get 11,000 votes?
Hey.
I mean, if you felt that the election was stolen, it's stolen. You don't want to vote because you want the election to happen again because you're saying that this one's stolen.
Right.
In other words, he knew he lost, but possibly there could be 11,000 votes that could overturn the fact that I was lost. If you say that the election is stolen, then you can never find enough votes ever, because all they're going to do is find those and steal those too if it's a stolen election.
Right.
You understand? So they knew that the election was fair, and they were trying to be the ones. They were actually trying to do what they were saying was done to them. They were actually trying to reverse and steal the election. And when they didn't get that and it came to certification, then they tried to stop that process. This is it's treason. It's treasonous for a president to do this. And
well, it's treasonous
I think they need to omit. I think they need to say we had a 44th president and then dash 46.
Well, you may have a valid point there, because the next thing that I want to say is, for the president of the United States of America, who at that time was Donald J. Trump, to allow for the people to take over the United States Capitol and not send in troops, National Guards, and other people to defend the Capitol, to defend the seat of democracy. The Capitol represents the seat of democracy, not to defend it, but to let it be overran and overtaken on a pretext that they're going to stop the certification of an election. What if everybody in every state, every county did that? All over the country, because they were not happy with the outcome of the election. In the game of life, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose in an election. It's just like sports. My team is the Steelers. Your team is the Falcons. Some other people's team is something else.
Your team is the Steelers. Don't say my team.
Oh, yeah, okay. But somebody.
See, I'll be with you, and then I'll be right there with you. Go ahead, finish it.
You want me to get another Falcon? Okay.
Another Falcon.
All right. But anyway, some people have different teams, but at the end of the day, somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, and you have to accept your loss, regardless of what happened, what mistake, what penalties were not called because the ref didn't see it, right? You know, I mean, but you have to accept all of those things and accept your loss and accept your wins. It's what they call it, sour grape. This is sour grape, but you have created sour grape and have created division all over this country and got people now, you know, in an uproar about a lie that the election was stolen. Accept the outcome and move on. We heard from Brigadier General Stephen Anderson. And he talked about what's going on even with the military. You had military people that were there that was a part of that. And he said, never in my life would I thought that we would see the Capitol overran like that. Exactly. He said, I've been a soldier for 31 years. He said, and I never in my imagination believed, and he said, I wasn't political. He said, I am a conservative Republican. He said, but not no more, because I don't believe in what they doing. I don't subscribe to that. He said, I've not been political, but I must stand out now because our democracy is at stake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what he was saying is our democracy is at stake, and then he began to talk about the military. He said in 2024, if we don't get a handle on it, that the military is going to not be in place to do what we need to do during this election. They're going to be listening to the pillow talk from Donald Trump. And he said, because they're buying into that. He said, because because you got a brigadier general in a state from the National Guard who's saying that he don't have to do what the federal government says. But the reality, he said, he's controlled by the state. He said, but it's a National Guard. It's not the state guard.
Exactly.
You follow the orders. You got people who are in the military not following orders. You got people in the military that are not being vaccinated, but they did it for what? Ebola. They did it for anthrax and yellow jaundice and fever and stuff like that. But now they won't take the shot for the virus. He said because they're not really following on. He said what young people need to understand is lesson in civic, and that's for all of us, not just the military. But people need to understand that the allegiance is not to an individual, not to a candidate, but it is to the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of the United States of America, to every elected official who take that oath of office, whether no matter care what office you take, you say that you're going to defend this country and abide by the Constitution of the United States as foreign and domestic.
It's all enemies, both foreign and domestic.
And he said, this is what he said. He said, I never in my 31 years thought that I would have to be talking about doing something, defending the country that we live in. Never thought that in 31 years. But now we're at that stage where he said, I'm fearful. We are fearful. That him and two other generals wrote this op-ed because they putting it out there. They said 2024, we're gonna be in trouble if we don't get a handle on this thing now. We're gonna be in trouble if we don't get a handle on it now, because you're gonna have the QAnons and all them other groups coming and and they study organizing, the Proud Boys, they study organizing and strategizing what they're going to do in 2024. We may see a part of that in the 2022 election, the mid-year terms.
Whenever you watch the United States government come together for the President's State of the Union, you notice that there are two groups of people that do not applaud. That's the Supreme Court justices and the military.
Right.
Because the military's position is, regardless of what happens in this place, we have to protect the Constitution of the United States of America. And by doing that, we have to defend this nation against enemies both foreign and domestic being the insurrectionists that were there on the 6th of January of last year, of this year, excuse me. 2021, this year, yeah. So it's a very dangerous perspective for this general, Brigadier General Anderson, to say that these factions, that in 2024, literally, he's concerned about a possible coup d'etat in the United States of America. In the United States of America.
Say that united again.
The United States of America. That's something that we see in third world countries could possibly be visited upon this nation. And generals like Mike Flynn and others that are fanning these flames and pushing for this. Again, I say that it's treasonous. But I said to you, I said on our air last week, and I mean it, that there, remember the president did not show up to the inauguration of Biden.
He did not.
There are those who ideologically still see him as the 45th president. They do not see a 46th president. They think he is an imposter. They believe that the 45th president, the election was stolen, he's still their president, is what he believes. That's Stonewall Jackson stuff. That's Jefferson Davis stuff. That's Confederacy stuff. And so I believe that there's this neo-Confederacy that's ideological now, but what this general just said was this ideology can literally turn itself into a physical war footing right here in the country
that we live in.
That we're living in right now in just 2 short years. And this is dangerous. And these persons that are fanning these flames, they need to go before the legal system, and certainly they need to be tried as treasonous.
You know, when one of the other things that he said is that we're locking up people who are insurrectionists, who were actually there, but the leaders of it have never been arrested. The ones who fanned the flame that incited them, never been arrested, but just those individuals who were participants in taking over the Capitol. But they was excited to do it by someone or something that caused them to want to do that, to want to overthrow the Capitol, to stop the election from being certified, and to say to the vice president, the then vice president, Mr. Pence, where is he at? We're gonna hang him, because he would not do what they wanted him to do, and that was to stop the certification of the election.
Wow.
They wanted to kill him. So we must look at all these things that are taking place, but the thing that has kept this country together is we abide by the Constitution of the United States. That is the law of the land. No president, no governor, no mayor, no senator, no congressman, no one, no citizen is above the law. No one. Executive privileges has to be wiped away when you violate and break certain laws. And we know that laws have been broken. And of course, we'll see what the outcome it is. You know, there's a song they sang in the church. They say, I believe I'll run on to see what the end gonna be. Because something at the end is waiting for me. So, brothers and sisters, we thank you so much for watching Straight Talk. We hope that what we've said, this ain't nothing but straight talk. This straight talk. That's straight talk. Yeah, do share it with your family and friends. This very important program today. As always, with yours truly, what's your name is?
I'm Greg Fan.
And I'm Shannon Jones.
Shannon E. Jones.
Shannon E. Jones. I'm sorry. Let me get the E in my name. I mean his name. Shannon E. Jones. And do tune in and subscribe to our channel. Thank you again for your subscription. For those of you who have subscribed, just keep on subscribing. Keep on sharing this news, because it's important. The 2022 election is taking place. I think the primaries in May 22nd, right? They start qualifying in February. Let's don't elect people just because they are color or they are, let me see, not color, but they are part of a certain party, and they supposed to spot our views. Get to know the people that you're going to be voting for. Get to know something about them. Google them, YouTube them. Find out something about these people that's running, because they'll tell you anything, and then when they get there, they don't do anything that they said they were going to do before they got there. So get to know them. If they don't have a track record of doing what they say they're going to do, and more likely they ain't going to be doing it when they get there. More likely they ain't going to be doing it when they get there. So Shannon, I want to wish not only those who have birthdays too. Some people have some birthdays, and
my mama's birthday's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yep. Yes.
Oh Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Excuse me, Sister Jones. He had to think about when your birthday. He had a senior moment. Oh Lord, have mercy. I hate to see you when you're a senior.
They said then you start having junior moments.
I don't know about that.
I got to go to the restroom.
Oh yes, Lord. Please. Hold up your hand like you did in school. Please, I gotta go.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, but we enjoy doing this program. We enjoy sharing information with you. Shannon and I've been a plum pleasing pleasure working with him this year on the program, and we're looking to do more and greater things. And if you want to be a part of the program, all you got to do is email me at fan922@comcast.net or call 44308-0795. And if you have news of information that you want to share, just send it to Straight Talk News 1362@gmail.com. And if you haven't registered to vote, don't be deterred by what you see. Don't be deterred by what you're hearing, even what we're saying. The power that we have to control and keep this democracy is our vote. So let's go to the poll, let's register to vote. And once we register to vote, then go to the poll to vote. We have many people that register to vote, but they don't vote. Just don't vote in the presidential election. Just don't vote in the governor's election.
Every election.
Don't just vote in the commissioner's election. Don't just vote in the mayor's election, but vote in every election, because with every election comes consequences. You know that from what we're dealing with from the election in 2000, was it 16, 18, 16? We're dealing with consequences from an election that happened in 2016 because we didn't go out to vote, because we elected the person that is creating all of the problem and the havoc that we're having today. So, Shannon, with that, I want to say to you, thank you for my presence.
Absolutely.
I thank you. I represent organized labor, which is a union that's united for fighting for the rights of people, working people, to make sure that people are treated fairly. And don't forget, it won't be long before you have to start filling out your tax return, because it's coming up. Time is moving and moving fast and moving fast. And for those of you who don't have a job, there's a lot of jobs out here that's hiring, okay? That's Red Talk.
Happy holidays. And be safe.
Be safe.
Be safe.
And don't drink too much of that stuff that Shannon drank, eggnog. You said it's been nothing today but what? Straight Talk.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fan at FANN922@comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shannon Jones and Greg Fan, the Preacher Man.